because I built this boat. You know what I do by trade? Not a boat builder. Yep. Actually, well, I don't know what you'd call me by trade. I've had a lot of different trades. This is one of them, being a tour guide. One of my other trades was a welder. I did some welding, never professionally though, because things kept breaking. Then I was a carpenter for a little bit with my dad, and a plumber. Yep. But none of those are really good boat builders when you think about it. So if we make it back, y'all lucky. That's why we call it Jungle Adventures, folks, not Jungle Boring. No, I've only had a boat sink on me once here. Yeah, and we left it where it sunk, right over on the other side, across from where I do the gator feeding. Y'all think I'm kidding, don't you?
No, I saw the boat.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it just rained. Some water might come off them leaves when we bump them. I try and avoid the branches at all costs, but sometimes I just got to take that selfie, and then I run into stuff. Or my girlfriend texts. If I don't answer her right away, she gets mad. Oh, man.
Yes, sure did.
Thought I heard something. Trying to keep an eye out for any critters we might see. Unfortunately, this weather doesn't really lend well to animals coming out and hanging out, you know what I mean? In Florida, rain is like snow. And we know what happens up north when it starts to snow. Everything comes down here. It's true. Now that over there, that's a replica of a Spanish stronghold called Fort Mies. In the early 15th century, the Spanish, they come here looking for gold. Did they find any? No. See, we laugh, but you know what? They did find gold. A lot of people don't realize it. Do you know what the nickname of the east coast of Florida is? Called the Golden Coast. You know why they call it the Golden Coast? Because of all the gold. No, see what happened is ships would wreck off the east coast, and that Spanish gold would wash up on our shore. So there was gold in Florida. Now, it wasn't the gold they were looking for, like to make more gold, you know, like the ore like you see on TV shows, like Legend of Crop Gold or Gold Rush. Not like those. It was actually lost and found kind of gold. Yeah. And there's even stories of where the natives would bring boxes of treasure to the Spanish when they came here. And when they would give it to the Spanish said, bring us these, and show them the coins. And they would bring them to them, and when they did, the Spanish would chop their hands off. So they couldn't fight against them. I said, well, shoot, what if they had another box they had to bring you? Now you're done for, right? You know? The natives would come up with stories of the 6 cities of gold here in Florida to get the Spanish to go looking for that gold and then run away. And you know where most of the natives went from Florida? The original natives that were being chased off of here by the Spanish looking for gold? They went to Cuba. They did. They fled here and went to Cuba. Now it's the other way around. Cubans come here to get away from what's happening there. See, so it's like full circle. It happens. Now, something else that's kind of interesting about gold, especially Spanish gold, is Spanish pirates called their gold booty. So if you go up and down the east coast of Florida on the beaches, you'll see lots of booty. Some of it you can't unsee. So how many of y'all know how to swim? Well, just check it, because this is where we give our free swimming lessons out. Yeah, they're absolutely positively free. And just bring me your cameras, your wallets and stuff, and hop in the water. You don't want that stuff to get wet, you know? And I promise you'll learn how to swim. And if you don't, you won't complain.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know how to get away from an alligator in the water? don't go in the water with the alligator. That's about the best way. And if you happen to be in the water with an alligator and you didn't realize it, don't splash. Just kind of try and walk slowly. The splashing will attract the alligator. Say, what's that? Oh, it's a dead fish. You know, flopping in the water, then it eats you. Yep. I get in the water here with these alligators about once a month. We have to like trim branches and stuff like that where the boat goes. So they don't mess with me so far. Y'all look at me like I'm crazy. It's true. It's a true story. I wouldn't lie to y'all. You wouldn't know if I did. I see somebody pointing. That must be an alligator. Yep. Little 8 footer. What we call redneck landscaping, y'all. My boss asked me if I would start multitasking, you know?
Berry bushes.
That's the way you do it, man. You should see how I mow the lawn.
Are these all alligators or some crocodiles?
In this lagoon, it's all alligators. We did used to have crocodiles out here, but we started losing too many employees. So we had to put them in cages. Now, the truth is we did used to have a long time ago about 20 American crocodiles out here with the alligators. But crocodiles tend to be a little bit more territorial. And when an alligator and a croc get in a fight, usually the alligator beats the croc.
Really?
Yeah. Well, what you got to look at is the fact that the alligator and the crocodile have the same PSI. That's pounds per square inch in jaw pressure. That's lucky. I'll tell you why we call them lucky in a second. But they have the same pounds per square inch. But alligators tend to have a little bit of a wider jaw than a crocodile. Same length, just wider. So that gives them more square inches. So that gives them more accumulated pressure. So an alligator can actually break the jaw of the crocodile. And once that happens, that crocodile's got no defense. So the gator usually takes him out. Now every once in a while, crocodile get a good shot in there or something like that. And it's not often, but it does happen. So we had to start moving crocs for their own safety. Now, the reason we call that alligator Lucky is, you know what his nickname is around the other alligators? They call him App. It's not short for application on your iPhone. It's short for appetizer. Alligators are very cannibalistic. The scientists tell us that in their studies they found that 45% of young alligators get eaten by other alligators before they're 2 to 3 foot long. So a little guy like that, he's lucky to be out here with all these 12 and 13 footers, because they just swallow him down like a little appetizer. You hear them noisy birds? Those are blue and gold macaws. They were somebody's pet, and then they realized they were noisy. And macaws, when they get bored, they scream. And that was a whisper. You can hear their screams up to 3 miles away. And what happened, especially here in Florida with homeowners associations in deed restricted areas, people would get the bird for a pet, but it starts screaming in the house, so they stick it on their back porch. In what they call the Florida room, you know, the nice screened-in porch. But then it keeps the neighbors up all night long. So then the neighbors complain. So a lot of deed-restricted homeowner associations say, no large birds for pets because of the noise they make. So guess where they go when they can't have them for a pet anymore?
Here.
Here. Yeah. That's Bertha. Yeah. Guess what we call that island?
Bertha's Island.
Yeah, very good. You know how many people they can't figure it out? We used to call it Swamp Cabbage Island because all the swamp cabbage came on it. Y'all see the swamp cabbage?
Yeah.
You do? You know what swamp cabbage looks like?
Mm-hmm.
It don't grow on the ground like cabbage. See that tall tree? We call them palm trees, some people. That's swamp cabbage. Yep, the sable palm. It's a Florida state tree. And you can actually cut it and at the top take the root, the heart of it out. And we call that swamp cabbage. It cooks and tastes just like cabbage. Don't eat too much. It's got the same side effects. Now over here to the left on this other small island, there's another swamp cabbage growing right up in the middle of it. And in case y'all are wondering, no, coconuts do not grow on those palm trees. They are not coconut palms, they're sable palms. Coconut palms look a little bit different. But you see that bush with the red berries?
Yeah.
It's not like the other bushes with the red berries around here. That is called Yalpon holly. The other ones are called Brazilian peppers. Now that Yalpon holly, you know what it's really good for? Coffee. You can take those leaves, crush them up, and boil them, and it'll turn the water black. A highly caffeinated, technically it's a tea, I guess, because it's made from leaves, but it's a very good tea. Don't drink too much, though, because you know what the scientists call that plant? Ilex vomitoria. Guess what happens if you drink too much? Vomitoria? Yes, it's not good. But the natives liked it. Every once in a while, about once or twice a year, they'd have what they called a cleansing ceremony. It was the black drink ceremony by proper name. And what they would do is boil lots of black drink, lots of the tea of the Yalpon holly, and they drink it until they vomited. And it would get rid of the evil spirits in their belly. Most of the time, those evil spirits are what we call worms. Like internal parasites. You know the reason your dog drags its butt on the carpet every once in a while? Yep. But that would help them get rid of them because they would get worms. That plant's going to come in the boat a little bit and get you wet, just letting you know. At least I was nice and told you about it. There's been a couple of people on the boat I just ain't said a word to. Watch it smack them right in the head. Trust me, they deserved it, though. Oh, you know what else is really cool? Look over here to the right. See this tree that's falling down? And you see all that fern on it? That's called Lazarus fern, also known as resurrection fern, or the Easter fern. All of them referring to the biblical story of the resurrection. Now, it looks dead right now, right? But we just had some rain. By tomorrow morning, it'll look bright green like it had just started growing. And it dies off and goes into a dormant state where it looks dead, and you would think it's dead and dry, but then as soon as enough moisture hits it, it grows right back up and turns green again. So it's like it comes back to life, so they call it the resurrection or Lazarus fern. Any other questions while y'all are on the boat? Feel free to ask. Just understand, I'm getting over a little bit of a head cold, so my ears are kind of like plugged up a little bit. So you got to kind of look at me and talk really loud. My girlfriend says it's nothing new. My dad always told me that your hearing's the second thing to go, son. I said, well, what's the first? He said, I can't remember. So anybody know what is the first thing to go? No? All right.
What are these orange, like, fruit looking stuff?
That is a really cool fruit that's not native to Florida, go figure. A lot of the plants that grow really well here ain't native. That plant is called the heart of flame or heart of fire bromeliad. And it's from South America, typically like Argentinian. And it's a very acidic citrus fruit that it grows. And the reason it got the name heart of fire is because that fruit is so acidic, if you eat it, it will blister your mouth.
That's good. Thank you.
Huh?
That's good.
It's all over. A lot of South America and a lot of Florida has it. From the south up almost past Central Florida, it's all over. Unfortunately, it's not a native plant. It was brought here. It's very pretty in the springtime when it flowers. The middle of it, the heart of it, will be bright scarlet red. That's how it got the name Heart of Fire. Then it'll turn with pretty white flowers, and then the fruit. But you notice how the fruit is still there? Because it's so acidic, the squirrels and stuff won't eat it. It burns their mouth. And the name fire comes from the center when it turns to fire. But they say that if you boil it, it'll take the acidity out of it. And then you can eat it without any side effects. But it's also been said that the South American natives, they would use it if a girl got pregnant, they would boil that and have her eat the plant. And the chemicals that are in the plant will aid in making the baby go away. Almost like having an abortion of type.